Imagine walking into a room feeling like everyone else got a memo you missed. That persistent sense of being an outsider, fundamentally different. This isn't just in your head. There is a powerful, invisible force at play, a silent truth explaining exactly why you've always felt this way. It's not a flaw within you, but a reflection of a core wound formed early in life. This invisible wall isn't built of stone. It's constructed from unacknowledged experiences, unspoken needs, and unique past patterns shaping your present reality. We'll uncover what this wall is made of, how it silently dictates your connections, and why dismantling it is key to finally feeling truly seen and loved. Let's begin. Our exploration into why you feel unlovable brings us face to face with a fundamental, often overlooked truth about human existence: the primal need for belonging. This isn't just a desire, it is an ancient, hardwired imperative etched into our very DNA. For eons, our very existence hinged on a profound, inescapable truth: we are not meant to be alone. Imagine our ancestors on the vast, unforgiving plains. A lone human was a vulnerable human, an easy target for predators, a fragile soul against the elements. Survival was a collective endeavor. It demanded a tribe, a clan, a community. Membership wasn't a luxury, it was a matter of life and death. To be cast out, to be rejected by the group, was a death sentence. Our brains evolved to recognize this. They developed an exquisite sensitivity to social cues, to inclusion and exclusion, because our survival depended on it. This isn't just ancient history, it's deep biology. When we experience connection, acceptance, and belonging, our brains flood with neurochemicals like oxytocin and dopamine, chemicals that reward us, making us feel safe, joyful, and whole. Conversely, when we face rejection, isolation, or the threat of exclusion, our ancient alarm system kicks in. Cortisol levels spike, stress hormones surge, and the pain we feel is not merely emotional. It's a physical discomfort, registered in the same neural pathways as physical pain. Our brains literally interpret social disconnection as a threat to our survival. Fast forward to today. While being ostracized no longer means immediate death by saber-toothed tiger, the primal wiring remains. The need for belonging is still profoundly active, shaping our behaviors, our fears, and our deepest desires. We seek it in our families, our friendships, our workplaces, our social circles, even in our online communities. We crave to be seen, to be heard, to be understood, to be an integral part of something larger than ourselves. But what happens when this primal need goes unmet? What happens when our experience from childhood onward is one of feeling like an outsider, of struggling to find our place, of being perpetually misunderstood or subtly rejected? The ancient part of our brain, still operating on its original programming, interprets this as a profound threat. It whispers a terrifying message: if I am not wanted, if I do not belong, then there must be something inherently wrong with me. And this, precisely, is where the insidious belief of being unlovable begins to take root. It's rarely about overt, dramatic rejection. More often, it's the quiet slights, the feeling of being invisible in a crowded room, the subtle signals that tell us we don't quite fit in, that our true selves aren't acceptable. It's the consistent experience of being overlooked, of our opinions being dismissed, of our vulnerabilities being met with discomfort rather than compassion. Each instance, no matter how small, sends a clear message to our primal self. You are not safe here. You are not valued here. You are not enough to belong. Over time, these accumulated experiences, this persistent lack of authentic belonging, don't just create temporary sadness or frustration. they consolidate into a powerful, self-fulfilling prophecy. We internalize the belief that we are, in essence, defective, that we are fundamentally flawed, making us unworthy of the very connection our biology desperately craves. We begin to believe that the reason we don't belong isn't because of circumstance or incompatibility, but because we are inherently, irrevocably unlovable. This understanding is critical. It reframes the feeling of being unlovable not as a personal failing, but as a deep, agonizing echo of an unmet primal need. It reveals that the pain you feel is not merely emotional, but a biological alarm sounding off, desperately trying to get you to fulfill the most ancient and fundamental human requirement: to belong. Recognizing this is the first crucial step in disentangling ourselves from this painful delusion. Your brain is a masterful interpreter of the world around you, constantly scanning, analyzing, and predicting. It works tirelessly to make sense of every subtle cue, every glance, every spoken word. But what happens when this intricate system, designed for your survival, begins to misread the room entirely, seeing threats where none exist and reinforcing the very fear that you are inherently unlovable? This isn't just about social awkwardness. It's a profound neurological misinterpretation that warps your reality and sabotages your deepest desire for connection. For those who carry the burden of feeling unlovable, the brain often develops a hypervigilance for rejection. It learns to anticipate disapproval, to seek out any flicker of evidence that confirms its deepest fear. This isn't a conscious choice. It's an adaptive mechanism honed by past experiences where genuine connection might have been inconsistent, conditional, or even painful. Your brain, in its attempt to protect you from past hurts, becomes a biased investigator, filtering every social interaction through a lens of potential abandonment. Imagine this. You're in a conversation, and the other person briefly glances away. To a securely attached brain, this is a normal part of human interaction. Perhaps they're thinking, or simply lost in thought. But to a brain conditioned by the fear of being unlovable, that fleeting glance becomes a sign. It's interpreted instantly as boredom, disinterest, or even contempt. The internal narrative screams, "They're tired of me. I'm not interesting enough." They want to escape. The problem compounds when this initial misreading triggers a cascade of internal emotional responses: a surge of anxiety, a tightening in the chest, a withdrawal. Your body language subtly shifts. Your voice might falter. This physical manifestation of your internal distress then, ironically, can create a distance that wasn't there before. The other person might pick up on your sudden withdrawal or tension and respond in kind, inadvertently confirming the brain's initial false alarm. It becomes a devastating self-fulfilling prophecy. This process is driven by your brain's threat detection system, the amygdala, working overtime. It's an ancient part of your brain designed to keep you safe from predators. But in a modern social context, it misfires, treating a neutral facial expression like a saber-toothed tiger. It doesn't see a colleague deep in thought. It sees a judge delivering a silent verdict of your inadequacy. It doesn't hear a friend's quietness as peace. It hears the deafening silence of impending rejection. This skewed perception isn't limited to nonverbal cues. Even compliments can be misread. "You did a great job today" might be twisted into, "They're just saying that because they pity me," or "They expect even more from me now, and I'll inevitably disappoint them." A genuine expression of affection can be dismissed as insincere, a momentary lapse in judgment from the other person, or worse, a tactic. The brain, unwilling to trust something positive that contradicts its core belief, finds fault, searches for the caveat, and ultimately rejects the warmth. The cumulative effect of consistently misreading the room is devastating. It keeps you isolated, even when surrounded by others. It prevents you from truly receiving love, validation, and connection because your brain actively screens it out. It perpetuates the painful belief that you are fundamentally flawed and unworthy of love, creating an invisible barrier between you and authentic relationships. You become trapped in a feedback loop where your brain's protective mechanism, ironically, causes the very pain it was trying to prevent. Understanding this mechanism is the first step toward reclaiming your social reality. It's about recognizing that often the room isn't actually cold. It's your brain's thermostat that's broken, constantly sensing a chill that isn't there. The people around you aren't silently judging you. It's your internal critic doing the heavy lifting. This insight grants you a crucial distance from those immediate, often overwhelming feelings of inadequacy. It allows you to observe these reactions rather than being consumed by them. It's the critical pause where you can ask, is this interpretation based on objective reality or on my brain's old programming? By consciously challenging these deeply ingrained misreadings, you begin the slow, deliberate work of rewiring your brain. You start to teach it that not every neutral interaction is a threat, not every quiet moment is a prelude to abandonment, and that warmth, when offered, can indeed be genuine. This journey towards accurate perception is a cornerstone of finally feeling truly lovable. The weight of an unseen past often dictates the present. We walk through life, sensing invisible chains, a quiet whisper that tells us we are fundamentally flawed, unworthy of love. This isn't a random feeling, it's an echo, resonating from the deepest chambers of our history, shaped by the foundational bonds of our earliest years and the silent scars of trauma. From the moment we draw breath, we are wired for connection. This innate drive forms the blueprint of our attachment style, the fundamental way we relate to others and ourselves. As infants, we learned whether the world was safe, whether our cries would be answered, whether love was consistent or capricious. Our primary caregivers, often unknowingly, sculpted this blueprint. If their responses were consistently warm, reliable, and attuned, we developed a secure attachment. We learned that we were worthy of care, that others could be trusted, and that love was a safe harbor. But for many, this wasn't the reality. Inconsistent care, emotional unavailability, or outright neglect fostered insecure attachment styles. The anxious individual, perpetually seeking reassurance, fears abandonment, believing they must constantly earn love. The avoidant individual, wary of intimacy, pushes others away, convinced that closeness inevitably leads to pain or suffocation. And then there's the disorganized style, a profound internal conflict born from caregivers who were simultaneously sources of comfort and fear, leaving the individual deeply confused about relationships and their own worth. These patterns aren't choices. They are survival strategies, developed in childhood to navigate an unpredictable world. They become the lenses through which we view every subsequent relationship, often confirming the very fears they were designed to prevent. Layered onto these early attachment experiences is the profound impact of trauma. Trauma isn't solely defined by cataclysmic events. It's anything that overwhelms our capacity to cope, leaving us feeling helpless and unsafe. This can range from overt abuse, physical, emotional, sexual, to more subtle yet equally damaging experiences. constant criticism, witnessing domestic conflict, medical trauma, or even the pervasive feeling of never being seen or understood. These small t traumas, often dismissed or minimized, chip away at our sense of self-worth and safety just as effectively as big T traumas. When trauma intersects with developing attachment, the damage is amplified. A child in a traumatic environment learns to adapt, often by shutting down emotions, dissociating from their body, or developing hypervigilance. Their brain, designed for survival, rewires itself. The amygdala, our threat detection center, goes into overdrive, constantly scanning for danger. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for rational thought and emotional regulation, struggles to come online. This creates a state of chronic activation, leaving us feeling perpetually on edge, unable to relax, and deeply distrustful, not just of others, but of our own ability to cope or be loved. The echoes of these past wounds are profound. We carry the fear of abandonment from our anxious attachment into every new connection. We project the ghost of past betrayals onto present partners, sabotaging relationships before they can hurt us. The core belief, I am unlovable, isn't a conscious choice. It's a deeply ingrained narrative, whispered by our earliest experiences, reinforced by trauma, and played out in the dynamics of our adult lives. Our nervous system remembers what our conscious mind may have long forgotten. A casual comment, a change in tone, a momentary distance. These can trigger a cascade of fear and self-doubt, pulling us back to that primal wound. This isn't about blaming parents or past circumstances. It's about understanding the intricate wiring that shapes our present reality. It's about recognizing that the discomfort, the anxiety, the distance we feel in relationships and within ourselves is not a sign of fundamental brokenness, but a testament to how profoundly we were impacted by experiences we had little control over. The echoes are persistent, but they are not our destiny. Recognizing these deeply embedded patterns is the first crucial step toward transforming the narrative and reclaiming our inherent worth. It means understanding that the feeling of being unlovable is not a truth, but a scar. We've journeyed through the shadows, understanding the roots of feeling unlovable. Now, the dawn breaks, and it's time to step into the light. This isn't about wishing for worth. It's about actively building it, brick by deliberate brick. Reclaiming your worth is an empowering process, a conscious decision to dismantle the old narratives and construct a truer foundation for your identity. It requires action, intention, and unwavering commitment to yourself. The first practical step is perhaps the most challenging, confronting the echo chamber within. For too long, the narrative of unlovable has played on repeat, a distorted soundtrack shaping every interaction, every perception of self. But here's the truth. Those aren't your original thoughts. They are learned responses, old programs running on outdated hardware. Your worth isn't debated, it exists. Your task now is to identify these internal saboteurs, these voices that whisper doubt, and label them for what they are: imposters. This isn't about silencing them entirely. That's often an impossible battle, but about reducing their power. Challenge them. Ask, is this truly a fact, or is it an interpretation fueled by past wounds? Where is the evidence? Who benefits from me believing this lie? Next, we turn to the vital art of setting boundaries. If your worth has been eroded by consistently prioritizing others, by allowing your emotional, physical, or temporal space to be trespassed upon, then boundaries are your new fortifications. They are not acts of selfishness. They are acts of self-preservation, declarations of your intrinsic value. Learning to say no isn't about rejecting another person, but about honoring your own needs, energy, and limits. It's about communicating what is acceptable and what isn't, and crucially, enforcing those limits with consistency. This requires courage, especially when those around you are accustomed to your past patterns. But remember, a fence doesn't keep people out. It defines the property line protecting what's inside. Hand in hand with boundary setting, cultivate radical self-compassion. For years, you might have been your own harshest critic, holding yourself to impossible standards, punishing yourself for perceived failures. This inner critic is a powerful, often destructive force. Self-compassion is the antidote. It's about treating yourself with the same kindness, understanding, and patience you would offer a dear friend facing similar struggles. It means acknowledging your pain without judgment, recognizing your shared humanity, that suffering and imperfection are part of the human experience, and offering yourself comfort and soothing. Journaling, mindfulness, and even simply placing a hand over your heart with a gentle intention can initiate this profound shift. It's a deliberate act of choosing tenderness over torment. The journey to reclaim your worth also demands a fundamental shift in perspective. For too long, you have likely focused on perceived flaws, on what you lack. It's time to consciously seek out evidence of your inherent value. This isn't vanity, it's factual recalibration. Begin a practice of identifying your strengths, your talents, your unique contributions. What are you good at? What brings you joy? What positive impact do you have on others, no matter how small? Keep a worth journal, a daily log of moments where you were kind, resilient, capable, creative, or simply worthy of quiet existence. These aren't grand accomplishments, but subtle proofs of your goodness. Each entry is a brushstroke, painting a truer, more complete portrait of who you are, beyond the shadow of feeling unlovable. Finally, understand that reclaiming your worth is not a single monumental event, but a series of small, consistent actions. It's like building a muscle. You don't achieve strength in one gym session. Each challenged thought, each boundary upheld, each moment of self-compassion, each acknowledgement of your strength, these are repetitions. They build momentum, creating new neural pathways, reinforcing a healthier self-concept. Start small. Perhaps it's saying no to one minor request this week. Perhaps it's dedicating 5 minutes each day to self-compassion meditation. Perhaps it's simply acknowledging one positive trait about yourself before bed. Consistency is key. These micro-victories accumulate, slowly, steadily eroding the old narrative and paving the way for a self-perception rooted in truth, that you are inherently, unequivocally worthy. The truth is, your worth was never lost. It was simply obscured, buried under layers of misunderstanding and misplaced blame. This chapter, these practical steps, are not about inventing worth, but about excavating it, revealing the luminous truth that has always resided within you. The path won't always be easy, but it is deeply empowering. Embrace it. Take these steps one foot in front of the other and reclaim the fundamental truth of who you are. You are worthy. You always have been. We've journeyed together, peeling back the layers to reveal the profound, often hidden truths behind feeling unlovable. This understanding isn't a destination, but a powerful key, one that unlocks a new perspective, allowing you to rewrite old narratives and embrace self-compassion. The power to truly connect, to heal, and to feel loved isn't found in changing who you are, but in understanding why you perceive yourself the way you do. If this exploration has resonated with you, illuminating a path forward, then don't let the journey end here. This channel is dedicated to demystifying the complex truths of our inner world, helping you navigate your emotions, relationships, and self-perception with clarity and empowerment. To continue uncovering these vital insights and transforming your understanding, please like this video and subscribe. Your next breakthrough might just be a click away.